My holiness is my salvation. If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? Like the text for which this workbook was written, the ideas used for the exercises are very simple, very clear, and totally unambiguous. We are not concerned with intellectual feats nor logical toys. We are dealing only in the very obvious, which has been overlooked in the clouds of complexity in which you think. If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? This is not difficult, surely. The hesitation you may feel in answering is not due to the ambiguity of the question. But do you believe that guilt is hell? If you did, you would see at once how direct and simple the text is, and you would not need a workbook at all. No one needs practice to gain what is already his. We have already said that your holiness is the salvation of the world. What about your own salvation? You cannot give what you do not have. A Savior must be saved. How else can you teach salvation? Today's exercises will apply to you, recognizing that your salvation is crucial to the salvation of the world. As you apply the exercises to your world, the whole world stands to benefit. Your holiness is the answer to every question that was ever asked, is being asked now, or will be asked in the future. Your holiness means the end of guilt, and therefore the end of hell. Your holiness is the salvation of the world and your own. How could you, to whom your holiness belongs, be excluded from it? God does not know unholiness. Can it be he does not know his Son? A full 5 minutes are urged for the 4 longer practice periods for today, and longer and more frequent practice sessions are encouraged. If you want to exceed the minimum requirements, more rather than longer sessions are recommended, although both are suggested. Begin the practice periods as usual by repeating today's idea to yourself. My holiness is my salvation. Then, with closed eyes, search out your unloving thoughts in whatever form they appear. Uneasiness, depression, anger, fear, worry, attack, insecurity, and so on. Whatever form they take, they are unloving and therefore fearful. And so it is from them that you need to be saved. Specific situations, events, or personalities you associate with unloving thoughts of any kind are suitable subjects for today's exercises. It is imperative for your salvation that you see them differently, and it is your blessing on them that will save you and give you vision. Slowly, without conscious selection, and without undue emphasis on any one in particular, search your mind for every thought that stands between you and your salvation. Apply the idea for today to each of them in this way. My unloving thoughts about blank are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. Again, my unloving thoughts about blank are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. You may find these practice periods easier if you intersperse them with several short periods during which you merely repeat today's idea to yourself slowly a few times. You may also find it helpful to include a few short intervals in which you just relax and do not seem to be thinking of anything. Sustained concentration is very difficult at first. It will become much easier as your mind becomes more disciplined and less distractible. Meanwhile, you should feel free to introduce variety into the exercise periods in whatever form appeals to you. Do not, however, change the idea itself as you vary the method of applying it. However you elect to use it, the idea should be stated so that its meaning is the fact that your holiness is your salvation. End each practice period by repeating the idea in its original form once more, and adding, if guilt is hell, what is its opposite? In the shorter applications, which should be made some 3 or 4 times an hour, and more if possible, you may ask yourself this question, repeat today's idea, and preferably both. If temptations arise, a particularly helpful form of the idea is, my holiness is my salvation from this.
Okay, how is everyone doing? Anything you want to go into this morning, explore?
Yeah, sometimes I was feeling like when Matthew said Jonas didn't do something right. I just realized that I was feeling a little bit tense to do something wrong, and my body just started to feel tense, and then I was afraid to some feeling about to be wrong, to feel wrong, and in this place there is no. I cannot relax. I could not relax, and yes, and sometimes I don't know if I really want to do something. Do my best just because I like it, or I'm afraid to not to be accepted or not to. Or to be wrong.
Your motive, you're looking at why you do something. If you do something out of inspiration or fear of not being accepted.
Yeah, actually I like to do good things. Not good things, but I like to do my best. But when I saw that this situation, I just have this thought, I don't want to do not wrong, or I think it started last night when we were late for the meeting, then Matthew told us, oh guys, you are late, and then I think it actually started last night, not now, but now I could see again. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting that on the altar.
Yeah.
It's good, I think it's great to want to do things right, follow the guidelines, come on time. And then maybe the fear that comes in is some old memory of being wrong, being guilty, like the lesson saying that there's almost like an attraction to be guilty. Like if you knew that guilt was hell, you wouldn't choose it. But do you believe that guilt is hell? Like he's actually stating, you don't really believe that guilt is hell. You know. And maybe, I mean, there's always a filter in the mind when there is guilt. There's an interpretation. So maybe when Matthew was giving Jonas instructions this morning, you remember last night and you interpret, oh no, we're scolded, we're wronged. So it's good to see that when you have that tension or that contraction, like something is wrong. And the invitation of Spirit is just forgive. Let yourself be free. Because I think sometimes or always the guilt will also block the learning of the lesson. Like if there's just the guilt and then there is a defense and then there is like actually not taking it in. Like I think, guilt is never helpful. Jesus says guilt is never justified. Ever. I love you. Yeah, I think it's very important to find inspiration, to give space for inspiration. That's very healing. I think maybe that can be our theme now. Here, just to get in touch with inspiration. And the only thing that really gives inspiration is forgiveness and extending. Communication is your function. You know, Matthew's talked about social media and sharing and extending. It can be a way of allowing inspiration. Does anybody else have anything you want to put on the altar? I said we would do instrument for peace or something, but I feel I am your instrument for peace. It's quicker too.
Yeah, I've got something. That line, you know, like I just looked at it first, you know, about if guilt is hell, what is its opposite? It's like, that just feels like the lesson for today. And,
yeah.
Last night, just whatever was going on just cleared out, and I was, you know, I'll say relatively peaceful, not totally peaceful, but so much more. And it was just doing the lesson then that something came in, and at first it was like, okay, I'm just going to look directly at you, you know, this, and show me what it is. And I did it in that moment, but then something else came in and I felt myself a bit distracted away, and what you said really fitted with it about something's trying to block anything, you know, any inspiration, anything coming through. So I'm not clear what it is, but I just want to see it and place whatever it is on the altar. I think there was a tendency to go, oh no, You know, I don't want this. I want to go back where I was a minute ago, you know, in a more peaceful place. And whatever it is, it's just accepting that it's just there for the healing and not to blight me or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a very nice turn around.
Yeah.
It's just there for the healing. Yeah. That's beautiful.
When you said about doing an instrument for peace, something was around last night, and it was like I felt a bit of fear around that. So I was like, oh, I'll just own up to that. That's around as well. Because I thought about something kept coming up last night, and there wasn't time to go through it. And I didn't really want to anyway. So.
And that has shifted now. That what you wanted to work.
No, I can feel it. Okay. I can really feel it. It's like a core issue that it comes up and around all the time. But I think it's holding up a lot of my fear, and it's down there. You know, just this feeling of self-hatred and you know, body image and getting older, and it's just seems to be around, and it's like, you know, passing mirrors and things like that. It's like, it's almost like the ego saying, "Oh, you're okay today because you don't look so bad or whatever," and then other times it's like, "Oh no, you look terrible," you know, which equals, you know, like, yeah, you're worthless.
So that's your forgiveness place in your mind. That very,
Yeah, I'm just willing to release it. But there is like a feeling like I've got to do something because it just keeps coming back. Does that make sense? Like, oh well, I'm in charge of getting rid of this or something.
I find it so strange that you think that of yourself. You're so cute and so beautiful.
And that's it. If I see that in the mirror, then that's okay. But when I see the opposite, it's like, no.
And maybe that can be, because nobody sees that on you. We never see the opposite. So maybe that can be your cue when you see that.
Yeah.
When you believe that, then just know it has nothing to do with what you see. So I think the ego is telling you it has something to do with what you see in the mirror. But take your time then, sit down with it for 5-10 minutes and invite Spirit to heal that deep unworthiness. It comes from that. It actually doesn't come from what you see in the mirror.
Yeah.
Some deep belief in unlovability. You know. So you can work with that. Yeah. Even to show up when you feel that way, because I know when you feel that way you probably want to hide. But to show up, sit down, be like, expose it to the Holy Spirit, like that dark feeling.
Because I just see that it's a filter, and it just keeps everybody out.
Yeah.
And it's hell.
I hear the word brave. You can be brave. Yeah, it's the ego's method of keeping everybody out. Ego is telling you a lie. It's not about what you look like. It's some deep unworthiness.
Because it's all tied in, you know, like on the timeline. It's like that was where I felt I could get some worthiness if I looked good, and you know, when I was younger, and it's like, oh, that's gone, and now you've got nothing, worth nothing, and that's kind of the message, which is really, really harsh.
Yeah, maybe you practice here. Try us. If you think you look like a mess, still show up, and we will just think you look cute. Well, no matter what.
This is like this feeling like, okay, that's enough now. That's enough now. Yeah, just put it back in its box or something. Don't let it out. Because I just feel really exposed. And
Yeah, but that might not be so bad.
it feels a little
Unsettling.
little more gentle than before. You know, it's like, I don't know, that's not even right.
Yeah, it's very funny, this self-image and looks, how subjective it is. It's completely only in your own mind. There was a time when I had crooked teeth, my front teeth, and I fixed them. And the friend said, "Why did you do that?" Because that was you. I loved you, the way you looked, and that was signifying you. And for me, back then, seeing myself in the mirror, I hated it. And I was sitting with that unworthiness. I sat with it and I just felt ugly, you know. But it was good. But yet, I fell for the temptation to go and fix them. But it was beautiful to hear her, you know. It was like, oh, okay, maybe others don't see me the way I see me, you know. It's subjective self-image that is, and the healing goes so deep. You don't really heal it by changing something superficially, you know. It's to allow yourself to be loved. Yeah, it's to heal it from within, from the bottom up. We love you so much.
I guess just trusting, what I don't understand. It's the way through.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, I think I still feel something from this morning. Little charge or something. I don't know what it is exactly. And I have a fear of expressing these things as well, because I think I shouldn't be, because of the role I'm in, I'm not supposed to get irritated or annoyed or something. But I did feel a little bit of that this morning when I saw the fire on, and but I'm just kind of feeling into it, like what Because I do know the fear of consequences came in then after that, and then I asked Jonas, you know, to try and move them so it would go out. But that came from, I don't think that was guided. It came from fear, I think. That I'm going to get in trouble, you know. And now Jonas should try and correct that or something.
Yeah, so it was almost like you passed on your fear of getting in trouble.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But as soon as he opened it and I saw the smoke, I thought, oh, yeah, that was... And he said himself, you know, what about the smoke?
Yeah. I really want to invite you to just come and join when you have that kind of fear of consequence,
Okay.
or doing right or wrong, or
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
knock
I can
on our
feel...
door.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can just come in
Yeah.
quite strong sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Fear of punishment, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
Mm.
Or talking about guilt, I think it's being made guilty or being responsible for something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the punishment, being made guilty, that I am wrong, I have done wrong. That's kind of the worst punishment.
In this situation, you see you're so innocent because you didn't know until you saw the message, and you see what the mind makes of that so quickly, and wanting to make someone else wrong then, as if he should have known, but nobody should have known. And he would have been perfectly fine, actually, to let it just burn.
Yeah.
It is a little chilly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Innocence. But this is the path. This is the awakening, is to accept innocence, accept guiltlessness, operate from that place. I mean, but that is, the journey is to clear all those pockets in the mind, pockets of guilt. It flared up many different ways. That's why it's called a journey of forgiveness.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because the mind wants to shine bright, and that's the birthright. That's what. Yeah. That's what is the calling. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Well, yeah, I guess I'm having this fear of being seen as a person who not gives a lot enough and not involves enough. So, for example, yesterday when we had this evening session, before I felt like, okay, my body is tense and I really don't feel that I can actually be helpful here right now. I felt to meditate. I felt to go and meditate. But then, my mind just kind of, I don't know if it's okay. And also, then we came a few minutes too late over here, and Matthew said, guys, it's not helpful when you are too late. And then I just said to myself, like, yeah, that's true. I put my mind fully into this now, and they are doing this, with me as an example, and I just put my mind fully into it. And then I did that, but it just felt like, that I needed to focus so much on catching the words and kind of, I'll read that again, and like really, trying very, very hard, and it just didn't feel releasing at all, and I just I just know by myself that when I go and meditate, I can see these things can see these things that has been going on in that day, and it's like I can see the emotions much deeper, and I can release it. And then when I come out and I have mind training, then I'm open to it and more helpful, and they also felt it. And so and I'm just feeling so wrong that I have that guidance to go away, and everybody here is gathering, and I'm afraid to say it.
Thank you for sharing that. I think you have repeatedly shared this issue. So I think it is something you can experiment with.
Okay.
I don't think all sessions are mandatory that you have to come. And if you're in a meditation and you're really working through it, the Holy Spirit that way, and you feel you're in the middle of a process of that, I think it is to feel the permission to stay with that.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. And then then there is also this this fear that, because if I meditate too much, then the fear is that, you remember on the cafe the other day where you said like, where are you, Jonas, or like, come here out with us, so that is a sign when I'm going there in that place. Okay, maybe I have meditated too much then. Then I'm getting like drawn up, and
I think you have had that issue, like, as long as I've known you, you have asked about that.
Yeah.
What if I meditate too much?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just flow with it, and the reflections will show you.
Okay. Thank you.
It's so sweet, yeah. And even Vanessa, she's also your barometer, She will feel if you're in a very helpful space, or if not, but yeah. But you can experiment and and try it out. If you feel like you want to stay and meditate, try that out and do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hi.
I'd like to share.
Okay.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had an argument this morning, and I was just, as we were sitting here, I was just feeling all this bitterness and rage and injustice, and I'm particularly reactive when I think I'm being blamed. You see, I'm being blamed. And then I'll blame. I'll blame back.
Yeah.
And the word sort of scapegoating keeps coming to my mind. Being scapegoated. But I can see this feels like deeply, deeply held grievances coming up. And if I don't feel like I'm being blamed, then I can hear a lot, even if it's about me, even if it's negative about me.
Yeah.
But when I'm sensing the other person is covering up their story and projecting it onto me, then I feel I'm almost incandescent with it.
You know so many words that I've never heard. but I hear what it sounds like. Incandescent.
Well, it can be the light incandescent, or it can be the rage incandescent.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just bright light, bright force.
Okay. I like that,
Yeah.
that it could be the opposite too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe there is a message there.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I want to say something to you guys, because it isn't, sharing private thoughts is not to dump stuff.
It's not to what?
Dump stuff on the
No.
other one. Yeah, I think, you know, for both, but you, Solveig, I do feel to say, ask more often, do I want to be right or happy? And go within more often with, you know, when there is stuff coming up, and never blame. It's, you know, expressing something is about taking responsibility, feeling like you want to change your mind. If there is a tendency to make someone else wrong or guilty, which is very common, the ego's religion is to make someone else feel guilty. And it happens in the special relationship so much, you know, and all of us who are in relationship need to keep that in mind. And we are all in relationship, whether we are couples or not. So to keep that in mind, that desire to make someone else feel guilty is the ego's religion. So when that is going on in the mind, you're praying to the ego. You have accepted the ego's religion. So to be much more alert to that, and to, even if there is strong anger and strong, you know, perceiving the other one wrong, there would be a time to go take a walk, take a time out, take 10 minutes in meditation and prayer with the Holy Spirit, journal, go for a walk, you know, whatever. Do not project, you know, that's the message. And open the Course and you see it everywhere when you read it, you know. So very important, very important. And once you've looked at it, sure, you can ask your companion, are you available for me to share with you? And see if he or she is available, then take some time and sit together and talk it through, because it's always a beautiful lesson for both. But first, there needs to be that responsibility taken. And really the words, do I want to be right or happy? They are gold. Like, keep them in mind. Keep asking that. It's very, very helpful. And if you want to say, no, I want to be right, then it's time to pray, you know. And it's time to go in and say, I actually need to want to be wrong about my perception, and I want to work through whatever it is. And it might not be, you know, it might be another way to work it through than to put it on the other one, you know. It might be to journal, pray, take time out. And I think you did so, because you were not here, and you were asking yesterday, could you journal instead of being in the morning session? And yeah, as guided, you know, as that feels right, then do that. So it's good. It's good that you did that. And I think that's it for now. That's what I had to express to that. So thank you. I feel very inspired today we need to put up the new event, this retreat in Malaga. So I'm gonna go and work on that, and I feel to invite you all, like when you have a beautiful experience with the meditation we have shared on YouTube, or feel free to share it on Facebook or on, you know, from that place when you feel it was so helpful, because it can be helpful for many others too. It's inspired.